Hello and welcome to Model Train Fun. Today we're going to look at the CargoNet 66404, which is the new Class 66 developed by Märklin last year, 2020. This particular model is the Märklin 39063. This is only one of several variants that Märklin produce. This is my own purchase and is not sponsored. So let's start by looking at the prototype. So the Class 66 was developed for the British market as an improvement from the Class 59. Originally the Class 66 was built for EWS in the UK, and it was actually in what was called the biggest order since the steam days. They actually placed an order for 250 locomotives in May 1996, and the first locomotives were delivered in 1998. It actually had a reputation for being very reliable, and that was also what caught the attention of the other railway companies in continental Europe. In continental Europe, it's actually marketed as the EMD Class 66, or I think more specifically the model number JT42CWR. The locomotive, as I said, has been very successful in the UK and in continental Europe. You have actually seen, I think there was, according to Wikipedia, 690 to 700 locomotives that's been produced, although most of these are UK based, which is 455. Only complaints there has been about the locomotive has been driver comfort, which hasn't been the best. The complaints has been noise and heat, which is also why you will see on especially the continental European models, they have a mounted air conditioner on top of the cab. This particular locomotive was used from 2003 to 2012 by CargoNet in Norway, which is a Norwegian freight company. All the Class 66 there had designation 66 and then 401 up till 406, and this one is 404. It's actually modeled as it looked in 2012. I looked at some of the pictures on the internet, and the only difference I can see between 2012, which was the last year, and the earlier versions was actually the color of the AC. It was actually white in 2012, and some of the older pictures I saw it more dark gray or blackish. However, I didn't really study it in detail, so there might be other differences. So let's look at the model. So here we have it. It's the Märklin Class 66, and this particular model number is 39063, which is the CargoNet version. The Class 66 is new tooling from Märklin from 2020, so end of 2020. Let me unwrap it and get it out of all of this plastic. It also has plastic on the sides, I see. Got some extras here. All right, here we have it. Looks nice and detailed. Very heavy. I believe it's made out of metal as well. Looks very nice. So this one is the CargoNet version of the Class 66. And this particular one is the prototype ID 66404, which is one of the ones that have been leased to CargoNet. All right. In the box, we also have a little drawer in the side here where we have all the manuals. So we got the manual for the locomotive. See if there's anything important in here. That's all the functions that are available, quite a lot. We'll test them out. How to attach everything to the front. Excellent. How to add smoke fluid. Maintenance pages. Oh, one important thing here for maintenance, I see. This one requires maintenance every 20 hours. I would say normally a Märklin locomotive is only every 40 hours of operation. So every time you run it 20 hours, you should maintain it. It looks like some of the bearings over here only every 40 hours. So you need to grease it every 20 hours. Good to know. It also supports world of operations, so that's on your Central Station 3 and I believe 2, where you can play from inside the cab. So that's like this, and then you basically operate it inside the cab instead. The other thing you can do with the world of operations is also consumption levels of sand, fuel, and so on. And finally, we have the warranty card, always good to have. Here we have a close-up of the model, a little from the front, where you can see that even without attaching anything, there's actually a lot of nice details there, cables and so on. It looks really nice. The model is actually metal, both the frame and the body. If you want to, there is additional items you can attach. So here's a plow, and then there's some additional cables as well that can be attached for the front. But looking at it already without those attachments, I will say there's a lot of interesting details. The locomotive also has up here an exhaust, and that exhaust is actually, you can add smoke fluid to it and it will run. You can see the model here has the air conditioners as well and so on. So it actually looks like, at least what I've seen of pictures of the real prototype. Let me do a close-up and I'll drive at the slowest speed, so basically speed level 1. So here you see it. Very nice, very detailed. The paint is very crisp. As I said, it was metal, and it's actually really, really heavy when you lift it. Truly a beautiful model. It's also long, but it is in the prototype as well. So here in HO scale, it's actually 25 centimeters long. Beautiful. It's really nice. Let's look at some of the light and sound functions of the Class 66. So I'm going to turn on the headlight first. I see in the video it's blinking. It's actually not blinking in real life. Let's try and change direction. And then we get red lights. I see that doesn't blink. As far as I can see, there's a couple of modes of the lights on front. So let me just try out some of those. Here it's only 2 lights instead of 3 lights. It looks like it changed the light, so I guess this is long distance lights. And then it can blink with the light, so this truly is blinking. The flicker is not part of it, only the blinking. I can also turn light on in the engineer cab. Actually, this looks more like the long distance light. Oh, you can see there's an extra light that came on inside the cab. That's actually a light in the dashboard. And when I turn it on, there's also a sound associated with it. Cool. Let's try and start the engine. Interesting sound. I guess you gotta run. Sounds very nice. Of course, there's the usual horns. Let me see what else is there. Blowers, squealing brakes, letting off air, sanding, coupling, uncoupling, and so on. So there's actually a lot of different ones. One I haven't seen before is opening and closing of doors in a locomotive like this. So I guess that's the opening and closing of doors. Very, very cool. I like it. So let's try and watch the smoke in a close-up here. The smoke only appears when the engine is running. Nice. Big puff of smoke. Let me try and drive and see if it changes the smoke. There's only a trickle coming up now. Yeah, you can see more smoke is coming up. So indeed the smoke changes according to the engine. See a lot of smoke coming up now. And then when the RPM goes down, not as much smoke. Very cool. I like it. So what do I think about this Class 66 from Märklin? Well, first of all, it's very detailed. From the bogies to the front with all the pipings there, to the roof with a very detailed roof. If you look closely at the fuel tank, there was even a small fuel cap there with a handle. Very nice. The model is made out of metal, which makes it very, very heavy. And as such, it's also a very smooth runner. It ran completely smooth on my layout. I had no hiccups or anything. There's a lot of light and sound functions in there. I think the dashboard light in the engine cab, I think that's the first time I've seen that by Märklin. Very nice. Another first I believe Märklin has put in this is the dynamic smoke generator. The smoke generator actually changed the plume of smoke depending on the RPM of the engine. And it was actually a good solid smoke, so I really liked that as well. Could I find any negatives? Maybe the only negative I could find was when I put smoke fluid inside the locomotive. It seems like you can actually, if you're not careful, actually put some of the fluid beside the little smoke container in there. I'm a little unsure, but I kind of have the feeling that I put a little too much smoke fluid in there and it might have leaked inside the locomotive. I hope not, because that might actually damage it over time. So be careful when you do that. It also seemed like at times I actually got the smoke not coming up the exhaust pipe, but out the wheels. Maybe that could be an indication that I overfilled it somehow. Be careful with that. But in summary, I really liked it. It was detailed, it has great sound and light, and I love the dynamic smoke.